never know how to start these videos. It's really funny. I always end up starting my video, like doing about 1,000 starts, because I don't really know what to say, because I just fed up of saying hi guys all the time. I thought I'd do a video today on living in a small space, how to save space, and how to, you know, if you would call it storage solutions for living in a small house. I don't know. Basically, we live in a small house. We live on a really gorgeous row of little cottages that go down, and they are like 2 up, 2 down. And we actually live in the smallest house on this row. Most of the houses have like extensions on the back, but we don't. We literally have 2 up, 2 down. This house is a temporary house. I say temporary, we're probably going to be in it for another year. We are trying really hard to save for our forever home, and we want to not buy like a start home. We want to buy our forever home, and to do that I think we're going to have to save that little bit extra, which means staying. I am really happy about staying, however, because I love where we live. Had a lot of people, I've mentioned about having a small house in the past, and a lot of people have said, why don't you just go and rent a 3-bed? Why don't you just go and get a bigger house? Well, there's lots of reasons why myself and you, if you're watching this video, might not want to get a bigger house. Money, you may not be able to afford to kind of lift, you know, moving costs. You know, you'd have to pay higher rents. Maybe just the economy of your home is cheap, so that it costs. It could be your location. I don't want to move because of my location. I love where I live. We live on a high street that's very kind of chocolate boxy. At Christmas it's beautiful. I live right opposite a bunch of really lovely independent shops. Everyone knows everyone. It's just so lovely. And also landlord. Our landlord is very, very good. He's very reliable. I can trust him to fix things in the house if it needs to be done. It means that our children have a nice, secure home. So that's why we don't really want to move to a bigger house, and we'd rather just stay put as long as we can, and you know, we believe it will pay off in the long run. To live in a smaller home, we obviously have to be quite savvy with our space, and we are lucky in that the main room, so this room that we're in now, is large. Sebastian's room is actually a good size too. We can definitely fit Albert's cot in there with no problem. So when the time comes that he will be moving into Sebastian's room, that will not be an issue. Whether that happens when we're living in here, I don't know, because it all depends on Albert's sleep. But again, that isn't a problem. But storage may be an issue, and I get a lot of comments of people honestly saying, like, I don't know how you live in such a small home with 2 children. It really isn't hard. We could actually probably fit a 3rd in here. Definitely not maybe a 3rd child, but we could fit a 3rd baby. Right in front of me is the cot, and there's loads of room between the cameras in the middle with a big tripod, and then I have the cot, and right here is a big space where the co-sleeper was, so you could fit a co-sleeper in. So we've managed to we don't plan to have a 3rd in this house, okay, just so you know. You know, you could have that room in here. So I'm just going to give you a few tips and show you things that we do to make more space. The first thing is, you do kind of have to be really minimal. Look at what you've got. What do you actually need? What do you actually use? So I capture wardrobe, and both Chris and I capture wardrobe. So everything that is in the cupboard is things that I am currently wearing. If I haven't been wearing, they go to charity. I don't keep them. Folding things up, we tend to use, I'm not going to say I use the KonMari method, but I do roll things up and keep everything really neat and tidy in the drawers, and that obviously will make more space for more things. So we try and keep things kind of, you know, in as compact as possible. Not the neatest, but create space. If you can, buy a wardrobe space, or a wardrobe that is going to be kind of big enough to fit in your room but not take up too much space, but that you can divide into areas. Yeah, so we have the IKEA wardrobe, and it's really good because at the top it means that there's space so we can store some things, and down it divides into 2 separate areas. We've got a main bit, it means we can have like main clothes in one bit of the wardrobe, and we've actually been able to separate off another bit of the wardrobe for Albert, so he has his own little wardrobe within our wardrobe, and that is good enough. I'd always wanted a bed with storage underneath. I think having a bed with storage underneath is the best way to save space. We have storage underneath this bed with little drawers, and on one side I actually keep all my summer clothes. At the back on that side is like my wedding dress in one of the Ziploc the vacuum bags. As we haven't got that much stuff, we have actually got free space, free storage space. So under this side there's free. Back over there is where I tend to keep and I access regularly things that we're going to be storing away for that's Albert. So that's what we do. We just make the most of the space that you've got. Another big thing, just looking around the room, is keep everything clean and clear. Try and minimize as much stuff as you can. It'll make you feel better. It'll make the home feel much clearer. Pick out items that you really like, that are really special to you, ornaments and stuff. I don't know if you can see, we have this whole area here that's completely clear. You could put something there, you could store something there, but I like to just keep it clear. It just makes the room feel much fresher. It might seem a bit bare, but that I just, for me, I think that's a great tip, is just to keep everything clear. Have a look at what other storage solutions you have. I know that not everyone has under the stairs storage, but if you go to IKEA and places like that, if you have an open under stairs, you can buy loads of stuff to, there's loads of storage solutions at IKEA where you can just put things away and store them away. So we actually have an understairs storage area, and under there I have lots of the big kind of plastic containers, and they are stored and labelled. One of them is old kind of baby clothes that Albert was in that I've really kept. I've actually had most of it sent away and made into quilts for the boys, and the rest of it has gone to charity or been given away, and I've only kept some of the really special pieces because I just didn't want to keep too much, so I've kept that in one box. Pick out items as well when you in your front room. Just pick out kind of selected items that you really like ornament wise. It's really easy to collect a collection of like ornaments, and maybe what you could do is rotate them, so store them away and rotate them, get things out, change it about as and when you want. We actually have a lot of stuff in storage, so because we moved from a bigger home and we didn't want to sell our beautiful, for example, dining room table, which we unfortunately don't have space for here, we've stored it away. So I'll go ahead now and I'll just show you some of the bits downstairs. You guys have seen my video on our toy area, but basically this whole area is what would have otherwise been where most people will put their dining room table. We've sacrificed our dining room table in order for the boys to have a space of their own, and we don't tend to keep much on the windowsills just because they rip it down. So I've just kept a few little bits. This kind of box is used to hide away the internet thing. This is the electricity box. I've got one picture of Sebastian here, some fake flowers and a lamp, and all the other kind of stuff that we'd have. I keep that really clear and just kind of, I think it gives it a much more fresher look and just makes it feel less cluttered. We have this nest of tables, which is kind of handy for Sebastian to eat his food off. It really isn't ideal right now, but it's not forever. It's just the way it is. And I really like this. This was given to us by my nan when I first had Sebastian, and I think that this is like one of my favorite things to have, as well as that picture. So that's all that we keep out. This I upcycled, so I picked this up for £20. We actually have got a 4K telly that is stored away. It's a very expensive television. It doesn't fit in here. Chris really wants it back. I think that's his main motivation for moving, to be honest. Instead, we've got this telly that was from upstairs in our old bedroom, and that's what we use, and it's fine. It's a really good telly. Storage unit that we did have doesn't fit in here, and it's quite low down, and I wanted to get something high up so Sebastian didn't touch the telly. This is what I use to store my things, so like my sort of special things. So in here, the DVD player is there, but in here is like a lot of books. There's some ornaments that I just get out. Again, I rotate, some craft stuff, some games, and again here's some of my like DVDs, like my special things. Ignore the spray that's kind of loosely in there. It was a bit of a rushed job, but I still think it looks okay. Maybe have like an area or a storage area where you can keep your stuff, so like crafty stuff, so it's all like in one place. It's important, I think, to have your own things, you know, and that's what's really helped me kind of keep all my, because I have a lot of craft, I have a lot of books, and that's where I keep it and I store it all away. This is the under the stairs, and I actually have the double pram in there. So I've able to condense the space down the double pram. In one of my previous videos, I did go and reorganize this, and this is something I recommend doing regularly. If you live in a small space, reorganize your drawers and things regularly. Clear out what you don't use. In here's everything that I need and use. I now try and keep this clear as possible if I can, so that I'm not keeping anything extra in there that I don't need. So this room is not tidy. The curtains have not been open. It's literally just left as it was when Sebastian went to school. But I just wanted to show you that his bed and his little wardrobe. So we condensed his wardrobe down to this tiny little wardrobe from IKEA. They really don't need that many clothes, and they really don't need that much space, I don't think. We've just kind of got these little containers in there to keep like pants and vests and things like that. Jumpers. Oh, I'm out of breath already. And his clothes. So don't feel that you need lots of space to store your kids' clothes. I mean, unless your kids have loads of clothes, but ours don't. And then we just keep, we've got one of these caddies. These are things that he doesn't really use that often. I've condensed this down, but I still can't get rid of some stuff. So like the Duplo blocks, I got them secondhand in a big sack for free. And I don't want to get rid of them. I wonder if in future he will like them. So rather than just pack them away, I've kind of kept them out, because otherwise this would literally be bare. And he does sometimes play with the woody stuff, but I just keep everything kind of condensed in this little container, and books in like a storage area. So it means, he's been rummaging through his books, so it means that they've got all this area clear as well. When the time comes, they do have a teepee up, but when the time comes and Albert is in this room, we'll put Albert's cot along there, and we'll probably take the teepee down. So it really is just about making the most of the space that you've got, kind of sacrificing a few things, which can be really difficult. I know that Sebastian will miss his teepee, but after about 5 minutes he'll be like, oh okay, and we'll just store it away and get it out in the summer, and then when we move we'll probably have some space that we can keep it in permanently. So, you know, those are my sort of like big tips. Really, it's about just keeping everything clean and clear, and keeping what you really need, just things that you need, and that is what's kind of helped us kind of live in such a small space. The kitchen is an area that I'm still working my way through, but for Christmas, and this might seem a bit crazy, I have actually asked Chris for a horse maiden that can fold away, which means we can push back the tumble dryer and that will kind of make the room feel a bit more clearer, I think. But as you can see, it is a really small home for 2 children, but it works fine for us. I have sacrificed the dining room table for, which is unfortunate, but you know, that again works fine for us. Chris isn't around for most of the meals unless he's here on a day off. I tend to just eat on my lap, Sebastian eats on his little table, and eventually Albert will be joining him on a little table too. So it isn't ideal. It does mean that we don't eat family meals together, but we don't tend to eat family meals together at home anyway. When we are together as a family and Chris is off, we go out. So we've managed to kind of make that sacrifice work for us. It's not forever as well. I'm a big believer that if you've got a clear house and clear space, you've got a clear mind. At least that's for me. Anyway, please like this video if you like. It really helps me if you like videos. It really helps things if you tick that little box. So it's free to do. Just click it. Please subscribe as well, and click the bell if you want to get notified every time I upload a video. I upload 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. And yes, and I'm a mum to 2 boys, 3 and under. So I'll see you guys soon.